What what do we hope to accomplish?
Well, I think the first point is that we want folks to hear the story I have to tell about how racism has really become the central sort of issue of justice in my life, and what I have learned having spent my life thinking about how specifically the Black community can recover a true sense of, not recover, really discover a real sense of what emancipation means. It's also, of course, a testimony to a life of work for social justice, and is a kind of endorsement of what it means to be a thoughtful person, a person that's committed to learning, growing, your whole life through. And my most important statements really have to do with a summary which is captured in my book, that memoir, about the relationship between love, power, and justice. It has dawned on me that there is no easy explanation for how it is that we really turn around a history of hate and discrimination and slavery. But my conclusion is there is a resolution. And that resolution has to do with really, truly understanding both what emancipation means and how emancipation is achieved. And that I think is the most important contribution that I can at least identify as a result of the life I've lived and the struggles I have lived through. I don't know where I go from here.
Well, we've been having conversations about this kind of stuff for literally 20 years.
Yep.
So when I say, why are we doing this, I'm referring to the entirety of it. And this is really personal to me. Somewhere along the line it became really clear to me that though the details are in some ways fundamentally, radically different, the results from the abuse you have suffered and others from racism, and the abuse I have suffered from my childhood, from anti-Semites. The details, the difference is really important, but the results are very similar, if not the same. And so somehow I've come out in a good place. I'm still trying to understand that. But every day, almost, the pain signals from past injuries and current pricks, so to speak, maybe pun intended. Sometimes it's water off a duck's back, but sometimes I just start flooding with this tornado or hurricane of sensation, and not having that quickly translate into behaviors that hurt others in a doomed effort unconsciously to get the pain out of me by putting it into someone else. Not doing that anymore is like a really big deal. And I'm still trying to understand how we got here. And it's a we. Somehow we've been traipsing through this together. And so this is a thank you. And my goal is for you to feel the love and the respect and the relevance of your life as reflected back by the others who participate in this seminar. That's a big goal.
Well, one of the real surprises and grand outcomes of this venture, the variety of folks who have spoken to me about how pertinent the observations I've made in my book are to their lives. And nothing could make me happier, obviously, than your story and their story and our story. Because to the degree that I provoke and raise and offer a clue about how we who are different, however, whatever the difference may be, and those of us who have suffered, irrespective of what the kind of suffering it has been, can reach a point where the hope of the society lives in us, not in anybody else. To some degree it lives in everybody else, but especially it lives in us. We have a leadership role to play. We have a contribution to make. We've got a gift that we are absolutely delighted to give.
Okay, thank you.